This video is a madness. Let's get into it.
No one should have to live in conditions like this.
What about Jeffrey Dahmer?
But in this wet, cold, mould-infested flat live Franzoy and her 2 young sons. The bath she once used to bathe her children catches dirty water from the ceiling above.
Oh, what the bumbleclaw! Imagine walking around in your yard and your rugs are soaking wet to the point every time you take a step, any sort of compression rises, the saturated water, that madness. They are obligated to walk around in sliders and some kind of footwear in that yard.
Leaks began 4 months ago, soaking the floors, destroying their possessions, and turning their home into a health hazard.
I've had to plug out my fridge for about 3 months now, because water has been leaking down the back of it into the electric plug, and it shutted off all the electrics.
The damp began 2 years ago, but despite complaining to her landlord, Croydon Council,
fuck, that mold is bad. That is bad mold, man. Most people, if they do have mold and that, you see a little bit, like, typically in the bathrooms and shit like that. But when you see mold in the bathrooms, it's usually because people don't open up their fucking windows as well. But that is bad.
For the past 4 months, nothing has been done.
I mean, there's only so much I can get angry and get upset and pull my hair out. I just feel like I'm going to kill myself if I continue like that. So I just try not to make it stress me out too much.
Boy, you could hear the quiver in her voice, boy. If that was me, yeah, imagine like I was in that position. Yeah, I don't know how some people don't know how to go to the local council or the civic centre and kick up and make up noise. I would have run up in, so my borough that I'm from is from Enfield, innit, yeah? I would run up in the fucking Enfield Civic Centre and I'll be shouting, hold up, blood, someone get me out this fucking flat, rare, who, whatever, innit, yeah? I'll make sure something is done. I'll go up the car, listen, I can fucking shout loud, trust me, when I raise my voice, grown-ass men get scared, yeah? So I'll run up in Enfield Civic Centre and I'll make up some noise. Something will get done. Something will get done. I might not be right then and there that day, but something will get done. Because they're just going to think to themselves, we don't even want this guy coming in there making up noise.
You've got 2 children living here.
Yes, I do.
What do they say to you about this?
Mummy, the house
Smoke
is
alarm
flooding, and are we going to move? Are they going to fix our house? And they're like, oh, are we going to be homeless?
There's just water on the surface. Not because, you know, there was, I don't know, whatever in it, yeah, and they ain't cleaned up. No, there's water from the ceiling. It's dripped onto their work surface, and it's just sitting there.
What do you say to them?
I told them the truth. I said, I don't know if anyone's going to fix it, and maybe we will be homeless, because everybody I turn to, no one helps. So this is the room that we're all living in.
The only part of the flat undamaged is the bedroom, where Franzoy and her sons play, sleep and eat, and keep what belongings they have left.
I had to move the microwave out of the kitchen and the kettle, because obviously it's the only way I could probably make some noodles or warm up something.
Do you worry about the kids' health?
Yes, I do worry about our health.
Yeah. So mold and damp and that can cause some sort of like respiratory diseases. So like, let's say like asthma or whatever, and that can fuck up your lungs. I went to one yard in this Northampton area right when I first started on this contract in 2021 February, and they got problems with overcrowding. So basically, it's not just in this area, but like all over the country. Apparently, local councils say that your living room is a living space. So, for example, if you've got 3 kids, if you've got 2 boys, yeah, let's say, for example, there's a family, they've got a 2-bed flat. If you've got 3 kids, 2 of them are boys, 1 of them's a girl, yeah? They will say that the parents should sleep in the bedroom together, obviously, and then the 2 boys should share, and then the daughter, which is obviously the only girl child, she should have the living room. They're basically saying that we won't give you a 3-bed house. You can use your living room as a living space. And I don't think that's right. Someone's living room should not be a bedroom, yeah? Or someone's bedroom should not have to be converted into a living room or whatever, innit? So it's just dumb, man. But yeah, I went to one flat anyway when I first started on this contract, and basically there was 3 girls in the house. Yeah, it was a 1-bed flat, and there was 3 girls and the mum and dad. I think it was the 11-year-old and the 13-year-old. They slept in the bedroom, and then the mum and dad and the 10-year-old daughter slept in the living room. And in that bedroom that the 11-year-old and the 12-year-old or 11 and 13-year-old shared, there was damp all over the walls. You know when you walk in a room and it just stinks of damp? Like I even went to one tenant's house on the other side of Northampton the other day, and I even spoke about this in a video. I can't remember what video it was. As soon as this guy bust his front door to this flat, I said to my friend, you got a bad damp problem. That's the first, I said to him, obviously, yeah, I'm the electrician, and I said to him, you got a bad damp problem, and it was that bad that, you can't even, I had to tell him right then and there, innit? When I went into the area, because he's in a bed sit, if you know what a bed sit is, I went into the area where he would have the bed. The whole wall was just black. He said the bed was all mashed up and dashed to the side and that in bits and pieces and that. And he said I had to throw out my bed because the damp problem is that bad. I could not live with, no, I would get some money together if the council not going to do that. First of all, I'm stopping paying rent. You're not getting no rent money off of me if the place is like that anyway. And second of all, I'm going to fix that problem myself. Something's going to get done. I could not live in conditions like that. It's just not happening, fam.
My youngest, I have to be using Vicks and vapor rubs at night because he can't breathe. Because he's so stuffed up.
On the next floor up, we find the same problems in a different flat where Leroy is living.
Because the mould is everywhere.
I want
it
it backside.
Around so that the water doesn't land on the bed.
Guys, that is not like some shitty paint job. That is all mold, you know. Look around your room right now where you are. More than likely, your walls are white, yeah? Imagine your walls being black. It looks like soot. It's fucking nuts. That makes my skin itch, man.
This is all mould.
This is all mould.
It looks like there's been a fire.
Trust me, blood. Look at that. That's fucking nuts. How can... Oh, man, making my skin itch.
Leroy has had damp problems here for many years, but in November the leaking began all over his flat, sparing...
Do you see that? Every step.
But in November the leaking began all over his flat, sparing
that is
not
disgusting.
A single room.
How long have you had these 4 buckets here for?
Since about Christmas.
I would move out. I'd move out and go on private rent. But this is the problem. When you're that poor, you haven't even got the option of private renting. So, can I really feel sorry for these people?
Every 6 hours I empty them and put them back out again.
So what do you do at night?
I go to bed about 12, wake up about 6, empty the buckets.
Like Franzoy downstairs, Leroy feels ignored by Croydon Council.
I had to keep on ringing the council over and over again to say, what are you...
You've got water droplets on your fucking ceiling, blood. Ready to fall.
...doing about this leak in my flat. Eventually they said to me, there's no leak in your flat.
They said there's no leak in this flat.
They said there's no leak in this flat.
Why do you think they're not listening to you?
I got a feeling, because when I used to ring up before, I used to say, Leroy, my name's Leroy McNally. And I got a feeling that that puts them on the off foot because straight away they say Leroy, it's black person. We don't want to deal with this person.
That is bullshit. This is fucking Croydon Council, yeah? It's not like it's somewhere up in fucking Leeds or Newcastle. There's lots of black people in fucking Croydon, yeah? So it's not like black people are a rarity or whatever, yeah? This is fucking London, yeah? It's not racist. I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. See, black people, when they're in a position that they don't want to be in, they're always trying to pull the race card.
Blah, blah. I got a feeling it's something like that. Eventually I started saying my name's Mr. McNally. I wouldn't say Leroy. And I got a better response.
So you got a better response when you didn't use your Christian name?
When I didn't use my Christian name.
And it's not just Leroy's flat or Franzoy's flat. We've spoken to several residents in this block who say they've experienced damp, mould, leaks and flooding in the time that they've lived here.
To assess the potential danger of living in these flats,
It's the wettest I've ever seen plasterful.
we invited an independent environmental hygienist to carry out an inspection.
We've got a really, really high risk of electrocution here.
Really?
This is the sort of flat that I would have expected to see in a rundown area in the 1970s.
We showed what we found in this South London tower block to the expert who led the review into building safety after the Grenfell fire.
I don't think I've ever seen anything that bad.
She told us that the culture of how people in tower blocks in Britain are treated isn't changing fast enough.
When I talk to residents in the wake of Grenfell, when I talk to residents in other tower blocks as part of my review, one of the common complaints from residents was nobody listens to us. And that, I'm afraid, is typical. And that's one of the kind of fundamental cultural issues we've got to get over.
But here, that feels like a losing battle.
I feel just neglected. I just don't even feel like I'm human, like.
Like that scene there, yeah? One sec.
And that's one of the kind of fundamental cultural issues we've got to get over.
That looks like the back of some fucking dirty, nasty, abandoned shop. This is someone's yard, you know. Look at the bucket. It looks like there's fucking piss in there. That's water, you know. Fucking disgusting. I would have to live out on. I mean, what's the difference between living out on the streets? Literally, the difference is you just got, somewhere, you got a roof over here to stop the rain, and you got, an enclosure to stop the wind from coming and making the place cold. Fucking
But here, that feels like a losing battle.
I feel just neglected. I just don't even feel like I'm human, like.
And just how many others across Britain are tonight still being ignored.
Damn. Yeah, that is the worst I've seen. Especially that guy's flat upstairs, man. It looked like there was a fucking fire in a Ross Clark flat. But yeah, that's it, man. Stay where it's done now.